guys. I'm going to attempt to do an unload video again. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm using my regular digital camera instead of the GoPro. The audio is better on this camera, and it may get you a little closer, clearer picture of what I'm doing. I have no idea if this is going to work out. If it doesn't, then obviously I won't post it. Trusty hammer. Now, I hate these kind of trailers because they don't have a tube to hold the hose, and it's always kind of a pain. Not so much to get the hose off of here, and that's not that hard, but trying to get it back in there is a bitch sometimes. Because the hose gets wedged in there, and then you gotta climb in there, and you're risk hurting yourself. It's a stupid freaking design. I don't know why. See, like wedged, and then I'm gonna have to climb up in there, hanging off the trailer with nothing to hold on to, yanking on stuff. It's not a brilliant idea. It's just a stupid design. Asking for somebody to get hurt, in my opinion. So these things catch on every damn thing. The little handles there, and then you break one off, and I don't know. It's just kind of dumb. I'll set that over there. Got to hook to that hose over there. You see, they just droop, and then they latch into this thing. And again, getting it loose isn't really the problem. It's trying to get the thing back on there. It can be a bitch. It's kind of dumb. You always got to be careful when you set those down. You can crack the housing, and if it lands wrong, you can bust the ear off of it, and then you got no way to close it. This one is already busted off. I can already tell I'm going to have to back the trailer up a little bit. Here's our product hose that we're going to hook to. And this thing is beat to all hell and back. So what you want to do is try to get it sort of lined up. And basically just wiggle it till it meets up. And okay, so that one's hooked up. Well, I don't think it's going to reach. Well, maybe it will. Oh my God, possibly it reached. Holy shit. That was just total luck. That, total luck. Alright, so we got the hose hooked up. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to close the blowdown valve. That seals the trailer. Normally you would leave this in the closed position. It is. This air comes around, and if you close this, it forces it through the aerators. If you open it, it allows the air to go up and fill the tank from the top full of air pressure, which is not really what you want. You want the air going through the aerators that are in the bottom here. Let me walk around and I'll show that to you. Let me start up here. I'll get it all hooked up and I'll show you how it works. loud noises all through this video, guys. Nothing I can do about it. So you hook that up. Okay, this is the blower. Basically, it's a giant supercharger. Sucks air, clean air from over there through the supercharger, pressurizes it. The air goes through this line. This is a one-way valve. Right before that, it splits and goes around the other side of the tank. So here comes the air. Here's another one-way valve. Air comes here, splits off, and goes into the bottom of this tank, blowing air up through the product as it's falling through that release valve. That aerates it, kind of creates a liquid out of it, makes it sort of a semi-liquid. So on this, there's 3 pockets, so there's 3 of these. And then, as I said, this air goes around and then gets met with that valve. If that valve's closed, all of the air has to go through the aerators. If you open it, basically all the air will go to the top of the tank and fill the tank from the top. I guess there are circumstances where you would want that to happen. Maybe with certain products, you don't want it to get aerated. I don't know what they would be. Maybe concrete powder. I'm not really sure. So that's how that side of it works. So you've got air coming off the blower, blowing up through the bottom of the tanks, pressurizing the tank. Then when you open those valves, the product wants to fall out because there's pressure in the tank. But as it falls down, the air blows through it, allowing it to flow more freely. Now this valve is the my brain's not working today. If I close that, all of the air has to go around the backside and it goes towards filling the tank with air, either through the top using that valve, or if it's closed, through the aerators, which is how I do it. Then, once the tank is up to pressure, you open this partially, about halfway, then half the air is still going through the aerators, the other half of the air is blowing across the bottom. And as the product falls, that air blows by and carries it down the tube up into that tank. So that's basically how that works. Got my pressure gauges here. Generally want to keep it about 15 psi, a little bit more. Each tank is a little different. The blower, supercharger blower, has a pressure relief valve at about 18 psi. Most of the tanks have one too, at like 22 or 25 psi as an emergency. So, all right, so I need to close this, then I'm going to turn on the blower, and then it's going to get extremely loud. I don't know whether you'll be able to hear me, but I'll go ahead and record, and you can at least watch what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in the clutch all the way to the floor, put the transmission in gear. That stops the transmission from turning. I'm going to turn on the power takeoff switch there. That engages the power takeoff, which is the blower. Let the clutch out slowly. Put the supercharger going there, the blower going. That sets you to high idle. And I need to put on some earplugs now. That thing's going to be about 120 decibels. So it's going to be really loud and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so right now, air is coming out of the blower. Go this way, so it's going around the back of the tank, up through the individual pockets to the aerators, filling the tank. And you can sit here and watch the pressure is climbing. depends on how they've got the valve, how they've got these gauges connected up to the tank. I generally prefer this one to stay at 0. This one shows the pressure in the tank. This is supposed to show the pressure in the line on the bottom, but it doesn't always work that way. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Now you see, now that that's open, this one went to 0. Depends on how they've got it, the lines worked out. Now what's happened is the tank has got pressure in it. You know, like 12 psi is in this tank. But they're there now. I split this 50-50, so now they're there blowing across the bottom up into that tank up there. Now I'm going to open this valve, and the product is going to fall out while these tubes right here blow air through at the same time. And now product is falling while it's being aerated from those aerators and then being blown down the length of the tank. You'll see now that the line pressure is showing approximately what the tank pressure is. You can verify you have product flow by going back here and looking at your hose. And you'll see that the hose is jiggling. That'll tell you there's product going. Now I just have to see if it'll all fit in that tank up there. Pretty much all there is to it. We'll see, I see some smoke coming out of up there, so we've had a bad habit of them ordering product when they don't need it. Because they're too stupid to actually go up and check to see if there's anything in that storage tank. So I guess I'll find out. Now's the time where if the pressures are all stable and everything seems good, I might go sit in the truck, relax in the air conditioning. You know, it takes about 15 minutes to unload each pocket, usually. And you kind of just know the blower, the noise will change. As this tank starts to empty out, the sound, their aerators will get really loud, and you'll just know. I mean, it's second nature for me at this point. Although I've had a few of them, you know, where they emptied out sooner than I thought. They didn't make any noise for whatever reason. So, and then you're up there blowing the tank empty of pressure. And then you just got to repressurize and start over. Not a big deal, but it's wasting time. There's the full load in this, 48,000 and change. So we'll see. I'm betting you they can go in there. Alright guys, I'm going to stop the video for now. Nothing's going to happen until I have to switch from this pocket to that pocket, at which point I'll start the recording again. See you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, blower's making that noise. I'm probably already a little bit late getting to it. Yep. Waited too long, it's already pulled way down. Close that if you can. I'm going to bring the pressure back up in the tank, which needs to be about there to work right. I was busy surfing on the Jeep forum, not paying attention. I got my mirror tilted up though, so I can look up and see if that thing starts blowing out a ton of product. That way I know it's full. But if the earplugs in, I didn't hear the tank hollering at me. So I got her pumped back up here. Good enough. Middle way. Open this product valve. so.
Correctly, and then I'll go back into the cab, into the air conditioning, and run on the G-form some more. Alright guys, be back in a little bit. Okay guys, on to pocket number 3. I close this valve if I can, the aerator valve. That stops air from blowing up through there, and that means that all of the air blows up through the last pocket. I find that if you can close those, it helps to drain the tank a little bit faster. Still got 10 pounds in there, that's good enough. I caught it just a little bit late, that's alright. So this is the third and final pocket. Open that sucker up. Flow. Good to go. Takes about 15 minutes to empty each tank. So there's not much to do in between, so that's why I'm not doing the video on it. It's kind of boring. reopen the aerator valve, and then I'll show you what happens after that. Because there's still a little bit of product in the bottom of these tanks, for the most part. Now pressure's dropping very quickly. Valve, if there's anything still in that tank, you'll start to rise again. There may not be. No, it's falling. Because remember, I waited a little bit too long, and the tank mostly drained out. We're going to do the same thing on the front pocket here. Open that. Okay. And those rookies can drop. What normally would have happened is, let me shut these up. What normally would have happened is, if I had not accidentally, as it turns out it didn't matter, but if I hadn't accidentally drained the tanks all the way, there would have been a little bit left in the bottom of the tanks. When I reopened that up, pressure's down at about 5. When I'd reopen those again, you would have seen the pressure start to climb because it's trying to get past that product that's still in there and it's refilling the tank with air. When the product ran out, the pressure gauge would fall back down. Then you know it's completely empty. What I used to do is go ahead and repressurize the whole tank back up to like a high pressure, 15, maybe a little bit more, and then go through each pocket, and you'll hear the air rush out. Then you know it's completely empty. What I found was, it doesn't really make any damn difference. If there's any residual in there, it might be, you know, a few ounces. It's not worth my time. So I don't do that anymore, unless I had a suspicion that the tank didn't completely empty for some reason. Like it took a long time for the pressure to come out. Something, you know. Could have been anything, but if I have a suspicion the tank might not really be empty, then I might go ahead and try and do that procedure of repressurizing it and blowing it all down. Why don't I do it just to show you guys? I'm going to open the aerator valves. I closed them just because they were making noise. Now it's going to get very loud. Now all of the air is coming up through the aerators, and that's the noise they make when there's no product in the tank. Watch this. depressurized up to above 15 psi. Just so you guys know, the pipes are really hot. The output hose from the blower there, probably at least 300 degrees Fahrenheit at this point. So the tank's pressurized. When I open these product valves, you may or may not hear it, but air will, if there's any product in there, you'll feel it kind of, it'll kind of go past the valve and you'll feel it in the handle, and then you'll hear a whooshing sound as the air escapes, and then you stop. So we'll see what happens. You can hear the air. Nothing in that tank. Nothing in that tank either. And nothing in that tank either. Which is why I stopped doing that procedure. What I was finding is that if I did the procedure, if I did it like I showed you, drain a tank till it starts, the pressure starts to drop, go to the next tank till the pressure starts to drop, go to the next tank till the pressure starts to drop, let the pressure drop all the way down, close it, open that one, you'll see the pressure start to climb, and then fall back down, close it, open that one, you'll see the pressure start to climb. When the product's gone, it'll fall back down. That's the procedure I use now. And what I was finding is that when I went ahead and did what I just showed you, repressurizing the tank, 99% of the time I got that result. That all I got was the sound of whooshing air. I didn't feel any product hitting the valve on the handle there. So I just stopped doing it because it just isn't worth it. Like I said, unless there's a situation where for some reason I have a feeling that the tank didn't empty properly. But I wanted to show you it anyway. So we're still sitting at 10 psi. Now what I'm going to do is depressurize the tank by opening this valve right here. You might guys might want to close off your speakers. This is going to be really loud. Alright guys, that's that. Well, that's depressurizing. I will disengage the power takeoff unit. So there again, clutch in, let it slow down a little bit. Clutch all the way to the floor, gauge the clutch brake, stop the transmission, put it in gear just to make sure. Disengage the PTO. Put the clutch back out, reset your high idle so the engine doesn't stop. All right, now we're gonna unhook everything and we'll be done, but I'll go ahead and show you that. And I'm gonna take my earplugs out now. I may have been screaming at you guys, I don't know. All right, now we're gonna unhook this, and you always wanna wear gloves, because like I said, this thing's probably 300 degrees. I like to latch it. Put the cap back on. You don't want moisture or anything getting down in there, or crap or rocks or whatever. You can always do the old-fashioned test. Empty, empty, empty. Valve's open, pressure's done bleeding off. Now we're going to unhook the hoses. The hose. Because this one doesn't have a little ear on it, you got to take your little pry bar and kind of get in there, and that's why. There we go. There we go. The best way to get this loose is just to jiggle it. Their connector is pretty banged up. You can see how it's all beat up with hammers.
see how beat up it is on the surface. So sometimes it doesn't like to disengage. Put it back in the chain, keep it off the ground. We're done. On that side, gotta put the hose back on its cradle. That's a serious pain in the ass. One thing I do too, when I'm done with a load, just walk around, do a double check on the tires, you know, in case you lost one on your trip down. And what you want to do is drag the hose. You don't want to try to lift it up over and then pull it. It'll catch on the end of the trailer. This hose is heavy. Some of these hoses are heavier than others. Depends on what they're made of. Some of them are really thin-walled. Some of them aren't. I may need these to get that on there, so put them over there. What I'm going to do now is lift the hose up. Here. There. With that. With that. Bring that up. And this is why I hate these, because you got to get it like that. Now that went on pretty easy. Sometimes you got to push it, get it back to get it around the lip, and then you can't pull the hose forward anymore. So I always want to make sure these latch down. I don't want to be losing a hose going down the interstate. That would suck. So make sure they're solidly latched. Take that. What you need to do is bend it like that, shove it through there, and quite frankly that would probably stay, but that's not really where it needs to be. This is why I hate these, because you can't really get close enough to the damn thing to hook it. So I'm going to cheat and do that. Normally I like to hook it through there, but that ring's not going to break, so that'll work. And then just hook it on something. That'll prevent it from going anywhere, which is all you really want. You can run around and do a light check if you wanted, but tank's empty, blowdown's open, got all your shit. Hoses are all put back away. I don't want to drive off. I've never done it, but drive off without unhooking the hose and pull down the whole thing. That would suck. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you can hear anything I said. That is how you unload a trailer. Once again, no, I've shown that to you guys before, but there's my mirror a little bit better. And that's it. I'll try to get this all edited together and put it up for you guys. Have a good one, and be safe out there. See you guys.